Hey, it's me, Kara. I wanted to make another video this week talking about certain events that have been happening for a week or so, but I wanted to get on ahead and talk about the whole situation with Patrice Brown, who is the para-educator for fourth grade students. If you guys have no idea what I am talking about, a week or two ago, someone had posted a picture comparing thin white women in long dresses to Patrice Brown wearing a tight-fitting sweater dress and saying that Patrice wasn't being professional, that her outfit was inappropriate, and the only issue about her outfit was that her butt was too big or that she was curvy. And there wasn't really anything wrong with any of the outfits she was wearing, but a bunch of people were saying that she was inappropriately dressed when she was simply just a curvy black woman. And it's been getting headlines to the point where she was reprimanded by the school board because now they decided her outfit was too inappropriate because of the fact that a bunch of warriors decided to go on her page and start posting pictures for everyone to see. And it's definitely an act of misogyny war. The thing about it is people are saying how she's showing off her body, she's inappropriately dressed, she looks like she's going to a club just because she has curves. No one is going to wear a bag just to make insecure people or perverted people feel better about themselves. I am sorry, but no one is going to go out of their way to make you comfortable. I can understand if she were really dressed like she was going to a club, if she was in a real bodycon dress, but that was not a bodycon dress. That was a sweater dress. It was just tight fitting around her because of her curves. In fact, it wasn't even so much that it was too tight. It was just form fitting because it fit her form. And when I went to school, I knew so many teachers that dressed just like her. I knew so many curvy teachers, but the thing about it was they were white. And being a black woman, our bodies are sexualized more. It's the truth. You can wear shorts that are the same length as another white girl's, but because you're black, and you don't even necessarily have to be curvy, but because you are black, people automatically sexualize you more because your skin may be browner than everyone else. But I am just so furious about this whole situation, and I have been blocking people who have just been sending that woman inappropriate comments because it also feeds into rape culture because it's a bunch of adults trying to say that she's too sexual. No child gives a damn about how she is dressed. Most children are going to think, oh, she looks very pretty, and then mind her business. But it's a bunch of impure adults that want to have all these perverted thoughts and say that she's too sexual because her boobs are big and because her butt is big. I feel if she's not touching those children, if she's a good paraeducator, you should not feel comfortable with that woman around your child. You shouldn't, because there are so many stories of teachers flirting with students, having sex with students, raping students, stuff like that. So if she's not sexually molesting anyone, if she's doing her job, you should not feel uncomfortable by the fact that she's sexy to you. That's all that is. It's a bunch of adults who feel because she is sexually attractive, they want to project their feelings onto young children. And for those who don't know what a paraeducator is, because people say that she was a fourth grade teacher, but then people wanted to be technical and say, oh, well, she's not a real teacher. She's just a paraeducator, like she's an assistant. No, actually what a paraeducator is, it is someone who is trained in special needs. It's someone who follows certain students around to make sure that they aren't getting in any trouble. There's no students harassing them. They're not getting bullied. Making sure that they are focused on their school and studies. That's what a paraeducator is, because I had one when I was in middle school. So for those trying to invalidate the fact that she's a teacher or that she is trained in education, that's not necessarily the case, because I am assuming that she has done work with special needs. She is trained in special education and even child development. So I'm just sick of people trying to make it like, oh, she is just another pretty face. She's just a thought. She's a black woman that wants to show off her curves. And I saw someone on like a video saying that so many black women want to use the curvy excuse when they want to wear short and inappropriate clothes. No, because really it's a reason for you to sit there and say you don't have a problem when it's a skinny white woman wearing a dress, but then when you see a curvy black woman wearing a dress, suddenly you want to sexualize her. Suddenly she's too sexy. Suddenly you want to act like, oh, she shouldn't be wearing that because it gets black men's dick hard, or it gets some women jealous and insecure. That's all that is. And I'm just not here for it. Not at all. And apparently the woman took down all of her pictures because she was reprimanded. They told her, you know, you can't really be posting all those pictures of yourself in school because of confidentiality and all of that. So she took down those pictures, and they said, you know, some of your outfits are a little bit inappropriate, which I didn't find her outfits inappropriate. The one where she's wearing the pants and I don't know what team it was that she was wearing, but she was wearing some sort of sports outfit, and that wasn't inappropriate. Then she was wearing, you know, dresses where she had cardigans over her. There was only one picture that looked a little bit off, and that was her pink sweater dress. But again, I think it's because when I was in school, I knew para-educators, and for the most part, they dressed casual. They didn't like dress in business attire. They just dressed like themselves. Because when I went to this alternative school, there was one boy in my class who had a para-educator who was a black man, and oftentimes he would come around wearing just flannel shirts or wearing streetwear that you would see like the average person wear on the streets. So for those trying to say that she was unprofessionally dressed, well, you said it yourself. She's not an actual teacher, so the dress code for her probably was a little bit different. She didn't have to wear suits and vests all the time like a lot of teachers do. But at the end of the day, every teacher does not have to look dowdy or frumpy just to make you feel better about yourself. And for people trying to body shame her, I'm not here for it. I'm sick of the sexualization of black bodies, because I remember when I was in school, I would have female teachers come up to me and say, Kara, this male teacher felt uncomfortable to tell you that your shirt was too tight, or that your shorts were too short, or your skirt was too short, so he told me to tell you that it's inappropriate. White male teachers at that. And I said, first of all, if they're so uncomfortable, maybe they should check themselves instead of acting like, if they know that it's a problem to tell a young girl that her skirt is too short, maybe they should reevaluate their own thinking, because that's essentially what it is. If you guys are male teachers and you think it's off to tell a young black girl that her shorts are too short, then there is a problem. Because to say that it's distracting boys in school, or you distracting students when they should be learning instead of just staring at people. Everyone will always say, oh, Kara, pull up your pants, which, okay, I did pull up my pants, but a lot of times people will literally just stare. And I would say the problem isn't the fact that maybe my outfit is a little bit too tight. It's the problem with staring at people, that you stare, you're perverted. And of course, we do have dress codes where we cannot wear this to school. I understand that. But when you're going overboard and acting like someone is doing a porn show for you just because you just feel uncomfortable, because you don't like the fact that you're aroused by it, so you try to make it my fault. But as I said, to sit there and to say that you're not comfortable with the fact that she's around your children, she's not a pedophile. She's not anything that you should be uncomfortable with. It would be one thing if she were touching those kids, or she were bending over backwards and, you know, doing stuff that you should not be doing to children. But she's not. She is just a teacher or a para-educator, someone who is in the teaching field. And for a bunch of adults to sexualize her and to say things like she's sticky fine and she's teacher bae. I am not calling her teacher bae just because it further sexualizes her. To sit there and say that you're tired of black women being sexualized, but you're calling her teacher bae, you're calling her a term that is literally a bae, that literally directs back to black women's sexuality, because bae is basically a for before anyone else, or even short for baby or babe, which is a which means that is a term directed at Black women. So you're reinforcing her sexuality as a Black woman by sitting there calling her bae. You're sexualizing her even more. And some of you guys probably don't think that you're sexualizing her. You think that you're helping because you don't want to give out her real name. And I understand that. But I certainly do not want to call her teacher bae or Dickie Fine. Sexualizing her, and instead of calling her a para-educator or her real name, you just want to reduce her to this hot teacher. No, that's not fair for you to call someone who is in a professional field, someone whose passion is to help children, especially children with special needs, to just reduce them to a sex object. So I'm just really disgusted by this whole thing. Especially because when it comes to how I wear my outfits, I don't always want to wear tight fitting clothes, or I don't always want to wear loose fitting clothes, but sometimes I say, I want to wear something that shows off my curves, because for the longest time I would wear clothes that would hide my butt and would hide my boobs, because a lot of times people would say I would have a ghetto booty. I had friends in high school, or so-called friends, that would sit there and say that I had a ghetto booty. And I went to a mostly white school and just affluent neighborhood. So I would oftentimes just try to hide my curves because I just felt ugly. I felt like having a big butt made me ugly. I felt that having hips made me ugly. I hated the fact that people looked at me as the girl with the big butt. I really hated it. So now everyone wants to sit there and say that's a sign that you have a nice body, but where were you when I was getting body shamed in school? Or I would have people jokingly say that I had a ghetto booty, which basically you're associating Blackness with being ghetto because you associate having a big butt with Blackness. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is certain people online that are just problematic to the point that they don't like criticisms, because I had actually went on Twitter to check someone's Twitter because they had tweeted something that I agreed with, but then I found out that I was blocked from their account. And I realized it probably was because they saw a few of my tweets where I was critiquing them or saying that they were misogynistic, or they would preach respectability politics. And I don't want to start drama or start telling people, who to follow and who not to follow and try to get into this debate. But my issue is how certain Black female YouTubers will say that they are for Black women, but when it comes to how much respectability politics they fall into, which I am talking about the YouTuber Lovely T 2002, because when I first heard of her, she was talking about Lil Wayne and how he was against dark-skinned girls. So I was interested in her videos and I would watch. But when I started feeling some type of way about her was when the Ayesha Curry situation, when she said that only hoes were insecure about Ayesha Curry and that they were just mad that Ayesha Curry is telling them how to dress. And she would really rag on Amber Rose like she has a huge problem with Amber Rose. And I just didn't understand why she had such an issue with Black female liberation, and how she would get upset if people brought up slut shaming, and she would try to say that she wasn't slut shaming, but she was, and use terms like hood rats or hood boogers, just classist terms. And someone told me that she's not even African American, that she is a Nigerian born American, or she's Nigerian, but she was raised in the South, I believe. But she's someone who's always telling African American women in particular how to act and how to dress. But she herself is not African American. And I just find it weird that this cishet Black woman is using terms like spilling the tea, using terms that are derived from Black LGBTQIA spaces. And she's also not African American, but she's using a bae. And she's also using terms like tooken. Like, she has no problem using certain language that would be considered improper English, but then also want to use classist terms that are very African American specific. So when I heard about that, that really made me feel some type of way. But I just feel like some of these people cannot take constructive criticism because I said that they're misogynistic. They must not care, or they must agree that they are misogynistic and don't want to change it if they are going to block people from their channel. People who aren't even haters, people who are just someone who's a fan of your work but doesn't really agree with the fact that you're disrespecting Black women and hoe shaming them. So that's why I wanted to make a video about that, because I just feel like so many people tell me that, you know, she's problematic, but I watch her videos because I want to get the tea, and I understand that. But to make it like Black women's sexuality is a sin, and to make excuses for certain women that she likes, like, oh, well, Megan Good can show skin because she's pretty and she has a nice body, but when it's a Black woman she doesn't like, then she wants to go in on her and slut shame her. And then she wants to talk about Amber Rose all of the time, and I just don't understand. Or how she said she didn't consider Jesse Williams to be Black, that he was actually biracial, which I don't agree with that at all, to sit there and say that Jesse Williams or other biracial people aren't Black, because biracial is a separate race of its own. I don't agree with that. But I don't get it, because so many people say that, you know, I'm still going to watch her videos because she is always on point. And I feel like it's because she's probably one of the few Black female YouTubers that actually has a following and talks about the topics that she does, that so many of us feel like, well, where else are we going to get our information from like a professional standpoint, or from like a legitimate news source, because they feel like she's the only legitimate news source that, because I don't know anyone else besides her that I really get my information from. I know, like, I watch videos from It's For Rocks or Ashley Miller, and every week they do a video about current events. And that's really the only reason why I sometimes watch Lovely T's videos, because I feel like, well, Ashley Miller's not doing her What It Is series, so I'm just going to, like, watch her videos, Lovely T's, until I get another episode on Thursday. The same with For It's Rocks. Or sometimes I even watch Seren Sensei's video, and I watch Cheska Lee's video, I watch Kat Black's video. But yeah, I really can't support someone that's going to sit there and block people because they may have felt some type of way about their opinions and they didn't agree with them. If you cannot agree to disagree with someone, then I feel like you are the problem, because I'm someone that is okay with agreeing to disagreeing with someone, as long as it's not something to the point where I feel that they are problematic, they are bigoted, and there's no hope for them. But with her, I just feel like I can't really support someone that is trying to feel some type of way and calling people fake because we may have said something about them a long time ago, but we thought they were cool on other issues. Because I'm not someone that's going to be fake to you. If I feel some type of way about you, I'm going to let you know. And I don't fuck with people if I feel a type of way where I don't want to be associated with them. But I can have my opinions about someone and still think they are cool. It's not like I'm saying, hey, what's up, Lovely T? And then I'm turning around calling her like a piece of shit. I don't do that. I may feel a type of way about certain politics, but I'm not going to follow people just because I'm a hate follower. I don't hate follow people. I feel some type of way about all types of people, even friends. But I'm not going to sit there and say they ain't shit and then be like, hey, to their face. I don't do that. I may say, damn, you ain't shit for the time being, but then I'm still going to be cool with you because I don't think you're someone that is that detrimental to my mental health or my humanity. But that's what I had to say about Lovely T and other YouTubers. It's not just her, but it's other people where you have a platform and you're trying to reach out to a group of people, especially young Black girls. You say you want to help Black girls, but you constantly preach respectability politics. You tell them that if they wear their nipples out, then they have to face the consequences, which borders on rape culture.